Well, I wanna start the interview by saying congratulations on this album. I've had a chance to sit down and take a listen to it, and it's an absolutely amazing album. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit about this album, because I understand it's a concept album that touches on a few different things. So tell us a little bit about this album and the idea behind it.
Okay, this album is a little bit different in terms of sound in comparison to the previous one, Obscurus and Perpetua. This time we took a different approach in how we were making the structure of the songs. We've decided to take a more brutal and aggressive approach, making the songs only with Thomas, okay, singing, and just leaving one song this time with the female vocalist, Rosmeta, so we could give it a more extreme metal feeling, okay, since the previous album was a little bit more symphonic and melodic. So we took that different approach, and even the story of this album follows an even darker approach. I mean, the previous one was speaking like eternal struggle between demons and angels. This time we decided to talk the story directly to hell, and we tried to make the feeling of the thematic of the songs to reflect that decision. Okay, so it's a more brutal experience. We think, at least.
So what was it that made your decision to make this album a lot harder and a lot heavier? Was there something there that sparked you wanting to do that?
Well, it was a little bit a mix between feedback that we've got from the previous albums. Okay, we knew from the start that Obscurus Perpetua would be like an experimental album where we would try different ideas to see what could work or not. Okay. On the feedback we got from a lot of fans and magazines, it was like a mixed feeling. I mean, a lot of people loved the album, how it was, but there was the other part of people that did not enjoy a lot of the female vocals being sang over Thomas vocals. So we decided to take in the feedback that we got, okay, and without losing the feeling of what Caedeous is and what the type of creativity that we have, okay, we've decided to explore a more brutal approach, this time only with Thomas, to give a more brutal experience, okay. Basically, it was that. Also, we had a little bit of an idea that would follow to the fourth album, and also because the female vocalist that we had for the second album, she could not do this time the third album, and we recruited another vocalist, which is Rose Matter, that joined to this album. So we just decided to go with just one song with female vocal.
Now, you mentioned there a little bit about having Rose Murder coming on board. You've also had people like Rich Gray that you've worked with on this album as well. Tell us a little bit about the musicians that you worked with this time around.
Okay. So Thomas, well, it's the same vocals, male vocals that has been on the second album, and he's going moving forward to the fourth, fifth, and etc. This time we decided to bring instead of me doing all the instruments, okay, we've decided to take a more professional approach and getting professional seasoned musicians. And I was looking for someone who could play the bass and record Caedeous as a studio album and going live, okay. And I had the chance to meet Rich Gray from Annihilator, and we spoke a little bit. I showed him the music, ideas of the music that we were doing for Malum Supplicium, and he loved it. Okay, and we talked, and he decided to record the bass for it. And we moved not only as him as a session bassist for the album, and but also he mixed, produced, and mastered the third album. We also brought in a guitar player, which is Douglas Melchiach, also to do the guitar parts as well. He's also a very session musician with a lot of experience. We brought in as well Federico Leone for drumming. Okay, this time not for the album because the drums were not made by him, but he's moving forward to the fourth album and also playing with us live. Okay, all the songs of Caedeous. And then we brought in Rosmeta, which is now the female vocalist. In the overall, well, that's the mainly lineup that we have currently, and this time it will be a fixed one. We're not changing anyone soon. Okay.
That's great. And there's also a second album, of course, a second CD that comes with this album, with all of the tracks in an orchestral version. What was that like to record?
Well, Caedeous since the beginning, okay, when I created the project long back in 2014-15, due to my main experience on working on trailer music industry and epic music, that I envision Caedeous as being part like a live music experience, as being a horror movie. And all albums of Caedeous have been always mainly composed with the orchestra part. And this time around, like on the first album, we've decided to, hey, this looks like really good to have the orchestra, as an added feature of the album, so people can actually have the metal version if they wish to listen to it, but they have the bonus of having the orchestral counterpart as being an added experience to people feel like how it was to compose, how it was to record it, and to also to have the feeling like it was a horror movie that they've been watched on TV or cinema. Okay, and the experience of recording it was quite, I don't say chaotic, but it was really took a lot of effort, in trying to get the session or orchestra session recordings. We, especially due to the pandemic and especially due to how the world current inflation is going, we struggled a little bit to get it done and recorded. But finally, we got in Europe a session orchestra session that basically recorded for us. So it was really great. But it wasn't really hard work. I mean, it took a lot of time. Basically.
Yeah. You talked a little bit there about the horror film feel to this, and a lot of this album, of course, was inspired by the horror stories of Lovecraft and Clive Barker. Tell us a little bit about why those writers in particular inspired this album.
Well, not only me, but even Thomas and all Rosmeta, Douglas. I mean, we're all fans of the horror movie genre. Like for me personally, and also for Thomas, we love how Clive Barker approaches the horror feeling of stuff. And since we were doing actually like a hellish horror story for Caedeous Malum Supplicium, we look at how, for example, Hellraiser movies were done, and the Xenobites and all those type of characters that are so creepy and horrific. I mean, the way they cut people's flesh, etc. And also the Leviathan god, which also takes us to the other authors. We were like, okay, this specifically it feels like something that Caedeous pull off in a orchestral feeling to the album, and also in terms of sounding. So for us, it was like, okay, let's do this. I mean, I think it has a lot of inspiration that we took from those kind of movies, and there's not usually a lot of metal music on the industry in the cinema, and we tried to bring a metal feeling, to those kind of ambiences mainly. So I think that Clive Barker especially, and also Alighieri's, Nine Layers of Hell, have all in common to what we were trying to tell people in this kind of story. So it was a direct decision.
Yeah.
Mainly, basically that.
Now, being a big horror film fan myself, I have to ask, what's your favorite horror film of all time?
Oh, I love, I love the 13th Friday horror movies with
Yep.
Jason. Nightly Elm Street, I love that as well. I think it's way to go to see that movies. I also like Exorcism as well movies. They are great. But I also love Luga Balazzi, old school movies like, in noir, black and white as well.
Yep.
I love all those kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm a really big fan of them. Yeah.
So, Pella, I have to ask, what are your plans now for the band for the rest of this year? Are you hoping to get out there and tour with the album coming out, or what are your plans for the rest of this year?
Okay, currently, we are working on a live stream show in order to showcase not only because we did not do any concerts on Obscure as well. Since it was mainly a studio band on that time, now we have a lot of musicians, and the aim of it is going live shows, touring and going to the street, to the road. Currently, we are working in trying to doing the live stream show that will be released during May, June, July. Okay, we already have all the songs recorded in video, but now this needs to be edited in order to show the stream show on YouTube and Twitch, etc. And we are trying to schedule concert dates, probably for 2013 late this year, and also bring the Caedeous to 2024 to festivals and touring, etc. Okay. We're also working in ideas also for the fourth album already. We have a lot of musical structure ideas now with Rose Metal on the band as well. They're trying to see what can be done. And probably we'll go on studio to record the fourth album as well on 2024. Okay. So mainly those are the main plans for us currently.
Wow, that is absolutely great news. I cannot wait to see that live stream. And I guess to finish off the interview, what would you like to say to people out there who are about to sit down and take a listen to the album?
Well, I would say, okay, if you like an added value experience with orchestra, I would say listen to the metal experience and then listen to the orchestra counterpart to see all the details, and all the rich environment that were made. And if you can, pick up the lyrics on the double CD and follow the experience to see how the story goes. And I cannot wait, and as all in Caedeous, to see you there on the live stream show, okay? And hopefully we'll try to be with you wherever you are, okay, in live mode, and try to do a huge concert to you. Okay, that's it. And thank you.